Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center on this Wednesday afternoon, tracking a severe thunderstorm warning in play for portions of Flagler County, also one for parts of Nassau. We'll get to that one in a moment, but this is a little bit more imminent in terms of maybe getting out over the coastal waters here, Roy, in the next few moments. It says it's pretty much stationary here within the text of the warning, but this is right there along the coast, so there's a chance this warning could get dropped pretty quick if this does kind of get on out there. But right now, around Central Avenue, Daytona Avenue, South 27th Street there in Flagler County, around Flagler Beach, we're talking about a storm capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarters as hell, really just evolving here in terms of its development right along the coast. You can kind of see as they go to storm relative velocity, some of those brighter colors we're trying to kind of show up there along the coast. So go back, you don't see too much around 410 or so, but then we got enough there, enough of a core to get going, and then I back this up. You can kind of see even 417, we didn't really have those purples, but then right there is where it got a little more concerning, and then we got some warning accent that come on the board for this, and then as I go to the north right now, I do want to see the other storm warning that we have in play for parts of Nassau. It's a little more rural here in some ways, where the worst of this seems to be within our velocity product, but nonetheless here, we do have some concerns east of US 1 right now. So just be inside and be away from windows here if you're in this area, mainly the southeast of Hilliard and northeast of Callahan. Looks to be the worst. I know we were planning just to post this warning here on Facebook and Twitter, but then we got that warning for Flagler that was more populated areas. We thought we should jump on here to give you the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family. So this warning here goes until about 5:15 here in Callahan, right on the edge of this, but still try to be inside if you're that thunder, obviously, and toward that area. Could always get a push of wind from step 2, even out away from the worst of the storm accent. So keep that in mind. Another thing I want to keep in mind here is a flash flood warning that's still in effect here out toward the west here in south central Georgia. We were talking about this a lot earlier on here in the timeline, but there was quite a bit of problems there as we were looking toward that region. So the heavy rainfall threat has diminished there across the warned area, but widespread flooding continued there through Thomasville. So let's go back over and we'll kind of see this area. So that's the current view, just light rain now. I'm not going to really do too much, but as we look over the last 12 hours and really, I mean, the last hour, we're not going to show it as much because we had the 3-hour one here, but the last 12-hour, this will show we've had about 3 inches, give or take, in the Wardout region. That's all been here this afternoon, really, in the Wardout vicinity. So, definitely interesting to keep in mind here. In the grand scheme of things, this again did cause the flooding concern during the 60s now, but I'll back this up and you'll see it flash some. And in fact, let me go over real quick. I'm going to do some things behind the scenes while switch you back over to the severe thunderstorm warning still in play for parts of Nassau County. But I do have those flood reports up now. There were a bunch of them. That's why I want to say this. I mean, you don't generally see this many here. So I just want to break these all down for you guys at home, the viewers. So our system's loading all those in here. Now I'll say this to you, and I'll change the background to have that thunderstorm risk on here because they're easier to see once you have that. All these different reports here of that water causing problems. So first off, I'll put a marker on this one. Neal Street flooded between MLK Drive and West Jackson. This one right here is Gordon Avenue at Hansel Street flooded. This one here, South Hansel Street at South Broad Street flooded around Thomasville. Over toward the east, Tuxedo Drive and Executive Drive flooded. Up toward the north here, Smith Avenue at Kern Street flooded. The entrance to the Farmers Market area. More flooding over toward the west of that as we place the marker over here now. Numerous roads reported flooding. This is just a generalized report there around Thomasville. A few vehicles reported start in the flood waters, but the water levels have stabilized or slowly been receding with the rainfall rates decreasing. That's from a little earlier, so decreasing even more now. But up to the north here, a report. It looks like a flooding situation there around East Monroe Street. And in this report here, flooding near the Walgreens there around US 19, that part of that road was flooded in that vicinity. So a lot of flood reports there. We were on covering that for you guys earlier at the peak of the event around Thomasville. Thankfully, the current radar view here now is just showing some light rain activity. As we go back to the broad perspective, we have 2 warnings on the board. We also have a storm in northern Bradford that's showing maybe some signs of strengthening here and a little bit of hail indications out of it. So we'll watch that. Some stuff in Clay County there. You see a little bit of lightning with it. Western Bradford. We're watching some stuff here. Nothing too overwhelming. But again, the 2 concerns. This one here in that 90-degree heat getting going right into the coast was a cause for concern for the National Weather Service in Jacksonville. They're still going to continue this warning for now. They're saying, for what it's worth, though, really just right along the immediate coast, I would say, is where this threat is really continuing with this, with the worst of this. And one thing that is interesting, I will note that we do have some stuff coming up from the south, but that's coming out of Volusia County there, and that's a different weather service office that didn't warn that area. So maybe they're keeping some of this warning just because of that stuff coming in from the north, even though it's pretty much stationary in the grand scheme of things. But 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter size hail, not out of the question here. As I know, some folks may be trying to go to the beach. Unfortunately, not safe to be out on the beach with a lightning threat like this there in the ward part of Flagler County. So, again, that's kind of the storyline there right now as we're looking at different things here in the Weather Center, trying to give you an analysis of the overall situation here at large. So, let me go ahead and go back to the north here. You see a strong storm there in Clay County. And here's Nassau County. You see some strong storm acts in Charlton County as well. So just kind of always interesting. Looks like another area trying to emerge here now as we're getting just north of the Jacksonville airport. So that could be kind of interesting to keep tabs on here over the next little bit. Looks like a different area here that's starting to peak on out. So might be a warning even near the Interstate 95 corridor. We'll just have to wait and see here as we get a little bit later on. But this warning does go for the severe thunderstorm threat here in Nassau County. They're about 5:15 right now. Again, that may get extended over toward Hilliard, or excuse me, over toward Yulee, as this is moving away. This accident, or this is moving away from Hilliard here at this point. So we'll just continue to monitor things here in the Weather Center. Just try to give you guys the very latest on what's going on. Just to see exactly what the different radar echoes here are providing. So things can change quickly here in this type of situation. So that's why I'm trying to give you guys all these up-to-date details. So this definitely looks like it's strengthening though, as we're getting moving in the direction here of Yulee. Yeah, that's definitely strengthening. So the traffic camera might catch a good view of this here. As it crosses over I-95, they are just out of Duval County. So let me see if I can get some in toward that vicinity for you guys then. We'll just try to see exactly what is happening there in southern parts of Nassau County as we continue to protect you, protect your friends, and protect your family. So again, just trying to give you guys the latest information here. Just seeing exactly what the different scans are presenting us with here in the Weather Center, because this stuff can be invaluable in terms of getting the information. So can those cameras are too. I mean, those camera views can be really helpful here to give us an idea of what could be happening closer down toward the surface. So again, I'm looking at the camera. It looks like for whatever reason, I need to double check this, but it looks like we may have an issue here where we're not actually getting some of the live views to pop up, just the still views right now. So that's unfortunate. It looks like there's a problem with some of these cameras. They haven't been loading in since earlier on. So again, just trying to give you guys the latest here on what's happening. I know you might hear some of our stuff kind of going pretty strong here in the back. We just have a lot of stuff happening. I know we even have wildfire threatened spots that haven't got as rain to as much of a degree. I mean, you have a situation here where you have the drought concerns, and When you have lightning and stuff, that can really trigger more problems. So we don't have live camera views in that area for whatever reason, but this warning is still continuing for parts of Nassau. We're also being told now about Flagler now. There's a report in from emergency management. Emergency management saying that a social media report did indicate hail to about Peace-side there on South 23rd Street, about 4:38 in the timeline. This is northern parts of Volusia County here, where we have some of the worst of it, though, as we look on the Doppler right now. So, and the rest of the worst of it seems to mainly be off the coast, but this could always be displaced just a little bit. Sometimes radar scans do have that concern with them where you're not able to see things exactly in the spot where they are supposed to line up. So, again, looking out toward Bradford County, nothing too impressive right now. Over toward Nassau County, definitely a strong to severe thunderstorm situation. Maybe a couple different areas here of a maximum. And we'll just keep watching this moving toward I-95 here, though. Some of the stuff there in Nassau County, just north of that Duval County line. Looking over to Flagler County, just into the report from emergency management sent in by the train by a trained Skywarn spotter there in Flagler Beach, 41-mile-an-hour gust there, 4:41 p.m. So again, just trying to give you guys the latest there, trying to give you guys the latest on what's happening in this overall situation. Again, just seeing some different things evolve on us. Seeing some different things evolve on us here this afternoon. You just want to be aware here of what's happening with our Doppler radar scans. Let's get back up toward the north. I know we're not on here. The interactive radar available at clutter.com/radar. That's always helpful, of course. Always helpful for you, the viewer at home, in these type of circumstances. Still trying to give you guys more information here, still putting some things. I know, just looking at some different things. There's some different warnings across the country, but those aren't our focus here right now. Keep an eye on them, though. Obviously, I know one in South Texas, for instance. They've been getting hit hard lately there with some storms in play, some pretty nasty storms really popping away. That deadly tornado early Saturday morning toward areas there in South Texas. So, again, looking right now at our Doppler scans, though, not as impressive maybe, and we're pretty close on the radar site. So if we don't see too much pop up in the next few scans, I might go ahead and drop this warning. We'll have to just wait and see. Things can change quickly in this setup. Looks like just some scattering of some things within the radar to ward parts of St. Johns County. It's not too big of a deal there. The velocity is picking up on a little different, but then the warning for Flagler has now been canceled. So that's some good news. We're down to one warning right now, and maybe back down to none here pretty soon. If things continue the way they're going right now, that'd be some good news for everybody here at home. So let's go ahead and go back on over to the broad perspective right now. Give you that broad radar view as I continue to give you guys the latest. I know today we're not taking any chances with some of these storms here based on what we had early in the day. We had storms really verifying with not the greatest radar signatures. They were kind of interesting, but the numbers weren't necessarily adding on up. But we had those storms verify here. The rescue area kind of shifted around. The models weren't really picking up on that stuff. So even if this stuff didn't maybe produce, and we just want to be erring on the safe side in some regard here with it. That's kind of what we're on right now. Sticking with it a little bit longer maybe than we sometimes would. Because I'm probably not going to have to stick with it too much longer because I feel like this warning may get dropped here pretty soon for parts of Nassau. That'd be some good news, but I know they're watching every radar scan here very carefully. They're inspecting things. And you see some stuff. I know we have stuff in Alabama there on the view, but it's not severe. Some strong thunderstorm action being noted by the Weather Service as we're looking out toward areas there of Dale and Henry counties. So, again, just brightening things out a little bit. I know we had a random tornado warning earlier for a trained spotter confirmed tornado in Clark County, Alabama. Also, a flash flood warning I see for areas around Pensacola, in that vicinity at least. Maybe just to the west, actually, as we get back further into toward Alabama, Orange Beach there under that. So that's one of the spots with some flooding, or some flash, trying to put all the words together here, but some flash flooding concerns. So again, definitely interesting to keep in mind here keep in mind for sure as we're looking out to the west. Under tomorrow, rain chances even higher on our local level and our 62 county level here. So we'll just have to continue to watch things here in the weather center, see if we have more severe weather. I mean, sometimes even if the cover didn't, it's great. You can have severe weather potential maximized to some degree here. But I mean, it just kind of depends. I mean, it always a chance to get too much, and then that could suppress things. Or if you just get the right balance here, you could really have a vigorous day of storms that are pretty potent out there. So it's kind of tricky here this time of year, and with certain setups, things can kind of shift around on you a little bit here. And kind of maybe catch you off guard even. So you just have to be kind of aware. Of course, we're live as needed. Facebook, Casey Cloud WX and Cloud Weather. Twitter at Cloud Casey. YouTube at Cloud Weather. Twitch there, Cloud Weather. You have cloudweather.com as well. All the different links available there. Auto alerts. I mean, it's something that's kind of interesting over on Twitter. And then just a reminder though, on the YouTube platform, I know you can hit that subscribe button. You can hit that bell icon there to be notified when we come on. And hit that like button there too on the individual stream, because that helps the algorithm there on YouTube recommend this video and this streaming stuff here in terms of our coverage to more viewers. So again, just going to go ahead and keep an eye on things here though for just a little bit longer. Here in the weather center. So let me go ahead and get back on over to the main view. Just not really seeing as much on this, but let me get back in there to make sure we don't have a wind enhancement here taking place. You just never know in these type of situations. You just never know if a wind enhancement could try to take hold here once again. It's not impossible with the way velocity is looking there northeast of Callahan. So that's something we'll keep our eyes on that latest scan there. So in some wind, this says a little more wind closer toward I-95, but that's outside the warning. So and that's probably not enough for a warning in and of itself right now. I wouldn't think it's close. It's close though. As we look toward Yulee, we'll have to watch that here around Yulee over the next few minutes in Nassau County. So again, just trying to give you the updates here. This as you kind of look at this, you do see some wind action here trying to get down toward the surface. We'll just continue to watch things, continue to monitor them. Definitely looks like the worst of this action will be outside of the warning now, but I'm not convinced that they're going to not issue a warning. I think they could issue one, so we'll keep it here a little bit longer. A new one I'm talking about toward Yulee there, as we have some of the worst of the wind action toward I-95 there. At the present time, we're also looking towards State Highway A1A with some of this. So again, just something to kind of keep our eyes on here in the weather center. We'll definitely do that here for you as the situation does transpire. So again, that's really the only area there that we're concerned about. And we had a black spot warning there toward Thomas. We have some stuff outside of the area here that you're going to see on our broad perspective. So we'll have to watch to see if it kind of gets back into toward some of our Georgia, Florida counties here later on or not. But right now, at least, the biggest concern is we have this warning here in play. Again, sometimes the scans aren't as visible here in terms of the strongest signatures at points, but we'll just have to continue to watch them. We'll just have to continue to monitor them here in the weather center. Again, going back on over right near I-70, or excuse me, I-95 here. I know I-75, we were watching some stuff there at points within the timeline. Of course, I'm giving you the latest updates on that this afternoon, but now it's more at this point here with this storm about I-95. So that's kind of your storyline right now, closer to the Interstate 95 corridor. I know this service says 50 to 55 mile an hour, gust and penny size hail possible closer to Yulee. That was issued after the warning was issued here. So again, it'll be interesting to see if they issue a new warning over toward I-95 here. You can see a little bit actually of maybe a hail signature showing up on the Doppler here with that correlation coefficient kind of going down a little. So again, right on the edge of needing a warning for the Yulee area. That's the big question here over the next few minutes, if they issue a warning for Yulee or not. We'll just be continuing to watch here, continuing to track things in the weather center to see if this continues its upscale growth as we get in more populated areas. Keep in mind, Yulee and areas in and around Fernandina Beach more populated. So that's something to keep in mind in terms of how we do our coverage. Sometimes we want to focus on, if we can, or if we need to, on the more populated areas. So again, we cover rural areas plenty. Of course, there's tornado warning. They're always on for any tornado warning storm moving through any one of our 62 counties. But with stuff like this, sometimes it's more about focusing on more populated areas. And this storm here, at least strong, if not approaching severe limits, moving closer in toward the Yulee communities. We're being told right now that they're watching a storm. The Weather Service in Tallahassee watching a storm in Barber County, Alabama right now. That's outside of our area, but and that's really kind of outside of their area too. But they're watching for a potential warning because it's currently accompanied by strong velocity pixels and is on a strengthening trend. So, by the way, strong thunderstorm parts of Duval County right now are being told. We'll keep our eyes on that. But definitely interesting here to just watch and monitor things. So again, right now it's just a one yellow box with a flash flood warning there, two in that dark green. That's from what we had earlier on. Oh, that rainfall this afternoon toward the Thomasville community, adding on up there for sure. So we just have to kind of keep our eyes on this situation, on these different situations that can arise from time to time. So see if there's any questions here right now. I'll see if there's any questions from any of the viewers. I don't think there's anything I can see right now. It looks like something in Spanish, but can't really read that here on the fly, unfortunately. But again, going to continue to watch things here this afternoon. Looks like a storm really trying to get going here in northern Duval County now. So let's see there. That's about 3/4 of an inch inside of the hail potential there. So let's see what that looks like on our other mode, our more high-res type mode here. We'll go ahead and see. It's hard to really see the wind energy there right now, but we'll keep our eyes on it. By the way, new warning in the grand scheme of things. It's not in our area at this point, but it is including areas of Dale and Henry counties in Alabama until about 4:45 Central Time. So we'll have to see if this gets in an area that's favorable enough to maintain things out toward the south and east. And some of these areas have really been having that atmosphere worked over here today. You can see that gap there. We don't have much instability west of Valdosta, so that could preclude some things. But that area in southeast Alabama now warned, so we'll have to see if it tries to hold together toward areas maybe closer to Blakely here later on. We'll just have to wait and see. So again, that's what it's all about sometimes in this pattern, this time of year. You have to wait and see to see exactly how things are going to mature, how things are going to develop here in the overall situation that we're dealing with. So, again, let me just continue here to watch, continue here to monitor things. We're approaching that 5 o'clock benchmark now. Approaching that 5 o'clock benchmark. I know they're saying here in the chat session now that the storm cell to be converging on Wayne, Brantley, Camden, and Glenn over the next 2 hours. Those counties need to be prepared for some strong thunderstorms. So, could have more warnings here. Where the one that we're watching right now came from. You just never know. You don't want to let your guard down here in these type of situations for sure. As we're looking there toward Yulee, for instance, Yulee and Nassau County. Definitely some strong thunderstorm acts, and the worst of the severe potential seems to have left areas here off toward the west, though. But toward the east, there's no formal warning, but it just seems like that's where about the worst this is. See some stuff here east of the airport as well, east of GIA. That looks pretty strong. Gusts 50 to 55 miles an hour, a possibility there. So I'll have to watch for a warning as this gets closer to the coastal areas here over the next little bit. Definitely something to monitor here in the Weather Center. So again, just continuing to watch things, continuing to monitor them. You see some thunderstorm action here and there toward the south. See some heavier rain there at points, but it's probably we're doing it based on the scan. But at least more moderate downpours. We're looking towards south central Georgia, but this here is in a more primed area for these storms to really try to get going. Warm stability left over. Southeast Georgia and far northeastern Florida. So yeah, this storm they're moving toward Woodbine. Looks like it could be trying to get its act together here a little bit. Definitely gotta watch that over the next little bit as that kind of strengthens there. You can see some stuff moving up toward Woodbine in that vicinity. So, again, that's Camden County, Georgia, that we're talking about here. So we'll just keep on looking at things here on our Doppler scans. Now, thankfully, we're not really watching a tornado threat today or anything along those lines, but still a severe thunderstorm threat here. That's a bigger story, and that can be a pretty big story for you if you have some damage there in your home, something like that. So you just have to be aware of that potential as we look ahead here in that timeline. So again, let me go ahead and zoom back out. You can see here we're watching some things again, strong but not severe for the most part. There's that one warning that we're hanging on to, they're holding on to here. Have a storm around Orange Park. We'll keep our eyes on it. It's not strong yet, but it could become that here pretty soon. Of course, we're still watching stuff toward Alabama, down Henry County. That'll be this year, maybe later on toward the east. We'll have to wait and see as the situation progresses. So, I know since we don't have any new warnings, I'm kind of thinking here, I might want to wrap this up pretty soon. I know this warning goes for another 15 minutes, but really the worst of the threat outside of the warning, I haven't got any indication here one way or the other we're going to get a new warning. We very well may get a new warning. There's a few different areas to watch. I mean, up toward Woodbine's one just coming out of the warning, the other one here in northern Duval County. So, again, we'll just have to keep on looking at things here and assessing things here in the Weather Center based on different scans, because again, one scan can make all the difference here in these severe weather situations. So, I know, just looking at things here, looking toward the Yulee area, looking toward that zone, they'll be getting some gustier winds there, maybe a little bit of minor damage, not out of the question there in that part of Nassau County. So, again, we're almost 5 o'clock here on the timeline. Meteorologist Casey Clyde been tracking this here over the last 30 minutes or so. We're going earlier for a more extended period of time. I'm hoping we'll wrap this one up pretty soon. Just kind of using my discretion here on these severe thunderstorm mornings if I need to stay with it here a little bit longer or not. I know it's just always interesting to see here some of our different scans. Again, north and east here of the Jacksonville International Airport at that strong storm toward areas closer toward Yulee, and another one here as we're looking east of the airport, east of GIA, Jacksonville International Airport. So, again, just a nasty situation here. We're just going to go ahead and continue to watch things in the Weather Center as the situation does require. I mean, we're just going to have to be watching things here and making notes here as different things if they are a little bit more on the serious side. So, I know that radar there is kind of right near it, so sometimes you get a little bit of a scared view, but I think we're going to go and wrap it up if I don't get a new warning in the next minute or so. If you need to keep track of that radar, of course, you have the interactive radar tab on cloudweather.com/radar here. I'll be back if necessary, as necessary here, as the timeline does go on. Definitely could get more warnings. Some of that stuff in Alabama could prompt warnings here in Florida, Georgia. We'll just have to wait and see. That stuff there in the ward part of Southeast Georgia, moving toward Woodbine, just a heads up that could become severe over the next little bit. You don't want to lay your guard down there. Got some storm accent moving toward Nahunta here. We'll watch it. A little bit weaker, but we'll watch it. And then we have some storms, one northern Duval. That's kind of strong. Another one here close to where this warning is, probably where the worst of the accent is. Kind of moving out of the warning there. That's for parts of Nassau and the yellow box. Last flood warning is going to expire pretty soon for areas of Thomas County as well, but they had quite a bit of flooding there today. Not about the rapid type flooding now, but still some flooding there that could be kind of problematic. So just remember to turn around, don't drown in these type of situations here. You just don't want to be messing around here when these scenarios do arise on us. So again, let me go ahead and keep looking at things here in the Weather Center. I think that pretty much is going to do it here. For now, again, watching a little bit of a surge of wind moving over Woodbine. We could have gusts 50 to 55 miles an hour. Of course, with that gets just a little higher to 60, though, issue a warning. So, giving you a heads up there. Watch for Brunswick, too, later on. Just a heads up. Let me go over to the other computer. I know we're in the wrong one in terms of giving you that perspective here. But, again, watch around Woodbine. Here's some wind either strengthening. We're watching that maybe move toward Brunswick later, and then we have that severe warning, but the worst seems to be out of that right now. So, Definitely going to be watching, going to be tracking here. We'll come back on if needed. We'll just post about the warnings, Facebook there, Casey Celebrity X, Cloud's weather there on that website there, cloudy.com has the links to those different sources there, depending on how you kind of look around. And then you also have a situation here where you can go to Cloud Casey on Twitter for that information as well. So that's going to do it for the time being. If we need to break back in, of course, we will hear from the Weather Center. But for now, I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud. Thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. Whenever the thunder roars, make sure you go indoors.